All right, so you all know by now, Jon Jones has stepped away from the sport. He has retired from the UFC. He's walked away from the heavyweight championship of the world.
Jon Jones called us last night and retired. Tom Aspinall is the heavyweight champion of the UFC.
And he's also walked away, ducked, avoided, whatever word you want to call it. He's not fighting Tom Aspinall. He's walked off into the sunset after a glorious career. And of course, right after he walks away, we find out about the latest trouble with the police. The police footage has been revealed. Jon Jones apparently, allegedly, was making threats, so we're going to get into all of that stuff in just a little bit. But first of all, we know the story of Jon Jones. The career he had was phenomenal. I mean, some of the accomplishments, he was the youngest champion in UFC history. He has the record for the most UFC wins in title fights, 16. He had the longest unbeaten streak. He had the most title fight defenses. He became a two-weight division champion. Of course, he went on that crazy run at light heavyweight, took out generations of champions, people like Shogun, Quinton Rampage Jackson, Lyoto Machida, Rashad Evans, Alexander Gustafsson, 2 fights against Daniel Cormier. Of course, one of them he tested positive for steroids, and that was something that kind of followed him around as well. And that's something where people say, hold on a minute, how can he be a GOAT when there's these asterisks? And another asterisk is what happened at heavyweight. Of course, he went up to heavyweight. He became the heavyweight champ when he tapped out Cyril Gane. But people are saying that he avoided Francis Ngannou. I don't put too much weight into that, to be honest. Francis Ngannou moved on. I'm sure he wasn't just sitting around hoping, waiting and praying for Ngannou to disappear so we could finally come up, okay? I really don't believe that. But he beats Cyril, he fights Stipe, he gets injured. In the meantime, Tom Aspinall becomes the interim heavyweight champ by knocking out Sergey Pavlovich. And that's when this whole entire show started, okay? We know the whole story. I don't need to take you through it, right? But after the fight, because he's retired now, he's walked away, and that's his right. That's his choice, okay? But if after the Stipe Miocic fight, he just said on the microphone after dancing for Donald Trump, if he just said, look, listen, guys, I've done it all. I've become a two-weight division champion. I've defended the belt at heavyweight, and I've just beaten the greatest heavyweight on paper of all time in Stipe. I've done it all. I've got money. I'm walking away, okay? If he'd have done that right then and there, everyone would have given him a standing ovation, myself included. Everyone around the world couldn't have talked any shit. Yeah, okay, maybe they would have talked about Tom Aspinall and said, but hold on, there's an interim champion. But he could have just said, listen, I don't feel the need to do that. I've taken out contenders before. Best of luck to Tom. Have a great reign as champion. I'm sure you're going to do great. All the best. And then go see him backstage and maybe get a nice picture and be cordial and be gentlemanly about it. But he didn't do that. He said, I will fight him. He demanded a ton of money. And apparently, according to rumors, he wanted FU money. He was given FU money. The UFC called his bluff, according to some people. And then he decides to walk away or not be transparent with what he was actually going to do. He went out to Thailand. He's living his best life. He's sniffing people's hair on the back of mopeds. He's going to seminars and saying, you know, keeping people waiting and hanging on and guessing, is the fight going to happen? And it looked like for a while that maybe he was just trying to get people hyped up and excited for the biggest title fight in heavyweight UFC history, okay? But that wasn't the case. No, he walked away. Now, there's a few reasons why I think he walked away. Number one, of course, the threat of Tom Aspinall. That's just a fact, right? We know he's big, agile, fast, quick. The man can do it all. He's incredible. He's a finisher, yada, yada, yada. You know all that. That's part of it, okay? Then you factor in the money, okay, right? He's made plenty of it. But the fact that he walked away from the biggest payday of his career, I don't understand that, right? If he's worried about legacy, it doesn't matter, okay? There's always going to be someone younger, bigger, faster, better that comes along. World records are consistently broken throughout the Olympics. It's just the way it goes. People get better. The athletes get better. There's training science gets better. Techniques improve, okay? There's always going to be someone bigger and better around the corner. My mum used to say that to me all the time when I would have fights on the street. She'd be like, Michael, there's always going to be someone bigger and better on the street that wasn't. Not until I got to the UFC, of course. Then there was a couple. Anyway, so there would have been no shame if he fought Tom Aspinall, went out there, took the paycheck, got paid, and went out and fought like a man on his shield, okay? Didn't get the job done. Oh, well, but I tried. People would have had respect and said, look at what he did throughout the entirety of his career, though. Still one of the greatest ever. He didn't want to do that. Maybe it's because of the lawsuit next month. He's going to get paid $6 or $7 million. So on top of all the other wealth that is generated, there's even more money coming in there. And he's like, you know what, maybe retiring undefeated. I say that because of the Matt Hamill fight. Maybe retiring undefeated is more valuable. Maybe you can trade on that going forward. But then, of course, we find out about this police situation, which is absolutely crazy. Now, of course, we know Jon Jones is no stranger to having altercations with the law. He's been in a lot of trouble. I'm not going to sit here and go through every single one of them. Number one, it'll take up too much time. Number two, it seems like I'm trying to talk. Number three, you already know he hasn't exactly been Mr. Johnny Good Two Shoes, okay? There's been a lot of things, but hey, listen, right? May the first perfect man cast the first stone or whatever it is. Those in glass houses. I haven't always been perfect. I've made mistakes. We're only human. But anyway, this latest thing, he's in Albuquerque. He's with some woman that comes over to his house. Apparently they were drinking. They decide to go out in the car. The police show up, they find a woman, she's in the car, she's naked from the waist down. Why is she naked from the waist down? I have no idea. She talked about doing magic mushrooms and drinking a lot of alcohol. Apparently they can give you a bad stomach. I don't know if the naked from the pants down is because of an alleged sexual encounter or maybe because she her pants or pissed herself. I don't know the score, right? But what we do know is that on the police footage, the police show up. There's a car that's been in an accident. The airbags have exploded. She's there. She's very, very upset. And she tells the police the driver was Jon Jones. They get Jon Jones on the phone. And then Jon Jones, allegedly, because he's denying it, starts to make threats, okay?
My brothers attacked the dreams systems and the cell phones.
He was the one driving the vehicle.
They're the most evil people you'll ever meet.
And he implies that his brothers, who kill people for him, will slit the throats of the police officers. He said, they slit throats. They're the most evil people that you have ever met. The police then said, that's Jon Jones. He was the one driving the vehicle, the woman tells him. And then whoever it was on the phone goes on to say, guess what? You won't be the first guy this year that I've threatened. Swear to God, you'd be the second.
Well, guess what, dude? You won't be the first guy this year that I threatened. It's gonna die. You'll be the second one.
And who am I speaking to? You Jon Jones?
What, if you're untraceable, you'll be surprised how bored we can be. But then you take it out on Taylor. If something ever bad happened, just because the shit you said, my brothers, they kill you for way less.
My brothers, they kill people for way less, okay? Now, this is all alleged because Jon Jones is denying it. The phone records came out. This happened in something like February, I think, and it took a while for the police to track his phone records and stuff like that. This is all over the internet. I don't like bringing up stuff like this and talking about it. The reason I'm bringing up all of this madness is that you got to think, with this going on, with this weighing heavy on his mind, he's not thinking about Tom Aspinall. He's not thinking about getting back in the gym and taking care of business, okay? No, he's got money coming in from the lawsuit. He's got a stack of money that he's earned throughout his career. He's got the legacy. He's living his best life, okay? And he's also got more trouble with the police. Now, allegedly, he got out of the car and disappeared. I got to say, if that is true, he might have done the right thing, because if the police had shown up and they said, are you intoxicated?
Are you intoxicated?
And he's behind the wheel of a car and it's all crashed up and he's on drugs and he's on magic mushrooms or psilocybin and he's drinking alcohol and he's got a rap for that, then listen, it would have looked bad. But he decided, allegedly, to get out of the car and leg it. Now, the reason I say allegedly is because obviously Jon Jones is denying it, and he does have an attorney, Christopher Dodd, and he said,
this is number one bullshit.
Here's what he had to say. He said, an intoxicated woman used a false allegation against Jon to avoid being arrested for driving while intoxicated, and the police fell for it. Dodd also said that the police sought a warrant for Jon Jones's cell phone records, which he insisted was highly unusual for a misdemeanor traffic investigation of this kind. I've never heard of such a thing, the attorney said. It is truly unbelievable that the police would waste this amount of time and resources on such a case. The only thing that I can think of is that the police were targeting Jon for improper purposes. We will get to the bottom of it and make sure that this baseless case is dismissed. And of course, Jon Jones came out on Twitter and said, hey, keep in mind, even the media can get it wrong. Sometimes if they don't have all the facts, don't believe everything you read online. And that is correct. Don't believe everything you read online. But let's talk about Jon Jones, right? Because that other stuff, I don't really give a shit about, okay? As I say, no one's perfect. He's certainly got a track record of making mistakes. But I'm not here to judge another man on his personal actions. I'm here to talk about what he's done inside the cage, not outside the cage, okay? I couldn't really give a fuck. There's a lot of people making mistakes every single day. I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying I couldn't give a shit. What I give a shit about is that did he duck Tom Aspinall? Maybe. I know Dana was very gracious and said, no, he doesn't believe that he did. He said he's never done that in the history of the organization, apart from that crazy time with Chael Sonnen.
Do you think he's ducking Tom Aspinall?
No. Jon Jones, I said it a million times, I'll say it again, he's never ducked anybody other than that one goofy time with the Chael Sonnen thing.
And that is gracious because, of course, Dana kind of looked after him, put together that whole piece about 18 months ago, outlining all of Jones's accomplishments and saying that he was the greatest of all time and stuff like that, and kind of led him down the garden path and messed him around, messed the world around, messed bloody Tom Aspinall around for the longest time ever, okay? And now he's still being gracious to him, okay? And he knows better than anyone whether or not he ducks people because, of course, they've given him fights for God knows how many years, okay? And we have to remember what he's done inside the octagon. Now, when it comes to whether or not he ducked him, I think there's a few things to consider. Yeah, Tom Aspinall is a terrible matchup. I said it from day one. He would wipe the floor with Jon Jones. Not because Tom's English, not because I have a good relationship with him, but because of what the man does inside the octagon to everybody, okay? That wasn't a slur on Jon Jones. It was just saying how great Tom is. Then, of course, you factor in everything else. He's almost 40. He's made the money, and now he's got this police trouble as well. You put it all together, right, and he's got another payday coming next month from this lawsuit, millions and millions of dollars from that. You put it all together, he's like, you know what? I don't need this shit anymore. However, is his legacy tarnished? Yes, to some people. Old school fans of this, people that were fans of the sport when I was fighting, they will remember Jon Jones for what he accomplished, for the way that he was able to beat people at their own game. They will remember the ridiculous fight IQ that he had. And they will also remember the fact that apparently he was doing this whilst not even applying himself. While going out and partying, he even admitted when he fought Daniel Cormier, he did it whilst taking cocaine in training camp, right?
Is this guy going to mess this up again by doing steroids or snorting cocaine or sandblasting prostitutes? What's this guy going to do? What's this guy going to do to mess this up this time?
Prostitutes. I beat you after a weekend of cocaine.
And prostitutes.
Not what you want to hear if you're coaching the man, but it does make the performances even more impressive to think that the man was partying and performing like that. So I don't know if he necessarily ducked him, but I think the fact it was a risky fight certainly leaned heavily into this decision. Anyway, I wish him the best going forward because Jones has always struggled to stay on the straight and narrow. We all have our demons. As I say, I'm not trying to sit here and all over Jon Jones. We all have our demons. Jones has had more than others, okay? And if he had problems when he had the discipline of a fight camp, and we know he struggled between the lines, he struggled to stay and walk the straight and narrow. He had many supplements found in his body that shouldn't have been there. He had problems with the law and all the rest of it. And this was whilst he had the direction of a fight camp, whilst he had coaches around him that wanted the best for him, that will be guiding him and advising him and coaching him through a career and coaching him through life as well, okay? Now he's going to be stepping away from all of that. Now is when I really wish him the best because these waters after the fight career can be very difficult to navigate. Will he come out of retirement at some point? I wouldn't be surprised. He's going to sit around. He's going to think, hold on a minute. I missed this. And I left a lot of money on the table. So it wouldn't surprise me if Tom Aspinall gets beat and he comes out of retirement. It wouldn't surprise me if Tom Aspinall has 2 or 3 title defenses and then he comes back and then the fight would be even bigger. Maybe, or maybe the public wouldn't even care. Anyway, I was just in UFC Baku, beautiful place. Flew home via Istanbul, had a 6.5-hour layover. Then I landed at almost 10 o'clock at night. I had my podcast yesterday. I had a bunch of meetings this morning on Zoom. I haven't stopped. I'm absolutely exhausted. I'm jet lagged to the absolute max and I fly to goddamn Vegas tomorrow for International Fight Week. So yes, I'm late to the party and I apologize. But there's my thoughts. Let me know what you think of them in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Take care. Subscribe, ring the bell, all that shit.